Hello there.
Hi, Kyle. This is Frank from the Trash Cans.
Well, I'd like to start by telling you how big of a fan I am of this new record, Wild Pendulum. I don't even mind saying it's one of my top records of 2016 so far.
We like it too, yeah.
I hope so.
It's not always the case that we're fans of records, like so much. I'm sure you can imagine just the making of it. As the people making it, you remember on every nook and cranny of it, and the fates were on our side, and everything just seemed to work seamlessly.
Yeah.
The producer was fabulous.
And you worked with Mike Mogus as the producer on this.
That's right. Yeah, up at the bright eyes. Oh, he's wonderful.
Did you guys go into the album with that in mind, that you wanted a very specific sort of person behind the boards?
Yeah. Eventually we got to that point. What had happened was that we knew we needed somebody because we all live apart now, so we'd spent about 3 years exchanging MP3s and GarageBand files, and there's a lot of rudimentary chopping and pitch shifting and all this stuff. So the demos that we had were really quite chaotic. In fact, I met a couple of producers while I was over in Britain, prospective producers, and I could tell they were kind of like horrified by what they heard. They just couldn't hear anything, But we had been working with them so long that we knew instinctively what was in the kernels that was in there and what we were trying to build, because we were using orchestral loops and dodgy old synths trying to recreate this or demo these ideas, and also working with Simon Dine who helped us with these kind of sonic the scenery, we called it the sonic scenery. So we knew we needed somebody with like fresh authority who could come in and say, first of all, that who got what we were doing. And Mike really won me over as soon as I met him. He just said, this stuff sounds daft, it sounds crazy, but it sounds like it'll be fun to make. I want to help you guys build this. I can hear what you're trying to do. And he was the first person to speak to us that way, positively about it. And thankfully, he has that kind of natural authority to it, and we could give that up to him. He knew he had a perspective on what we were trying to do and where it should go. We, I think, were too close to it to do that successfully, I think.
Well, it's such a unique sounding album. I mean, it doesn't actually sound like anything else right now, which is really refreshing. And the songs, these beautiful movements that happen throughout them, I don't think, Rare is a song on it what I would call formulaic, And in fact, one of the only ones that instantly jumps out that I know has got a lot of attention is All Night, which ends up possibly being the poppiest thing you've ever written.
I always liked the fact that with the records when I was growing up, that I liked being a big kind of chart fiend, you couldn't really hear guitars. You weren't really aware of guitars. Maybe drums you were, but instruments didn't really poke out. It was just a kind of sonic pop thing that slapped you in the face. And we really wanted to get something quite like that. I think, something that was a little bit chaotic, but it just had a sheen to it. You couldn't really precisely hear what everything was doing,
And there's a nice, of course, challenge to me where it says, "Come on, DJ, earn your money." I'm like, I can't not play this now without feeling like I have to live up to something. Which that's fine. I'll take it. We weren't really thinking of radio DJs at the time, but I suppose you guys are in there too, right? There's a lot of bad radio out there, so this is a nice challenge to any radio DJ that does want to play it. So
I never thought of that. I always wanted to try and write a song that ended with. And as I hand you back to the DJ, one of those old DJ songs from the 70s, But this will have to do.
I'm sure you've got to probably get tired of the time question. But people do
make question, sorry?
The time question, because people make a very big deal of the gap between your all's albums. Is that ever concerning to you? That, you've got to be like, I'm not on the 2-year cycle, so what?
Oh, no, it's not a concern at all. No, it's the only thing that matters is the music being good enough, and it's a combination of just the time it takes us to work by committee. Everybody needs to sign off. There's 4 equally kind of strong songwriting voices there that need to be not only heard with their ideas, but we still operate in the understanding that we all have to love what we're doing. So that just takes a while. It took us a while to get 12 songs that reached everybody was happy with. Well, we came up with like 14 eventually, but out of a good 25.
Yeah, it was well worth the wait. I would say
that's the main thing.
But as a greedy fan, we're always wanting more now.
I know, but you wouldn't like it if you got more now. You wouldn't. It's weak. It's better this way. Take my word for it. Yeah. with the kind of gaps that we leave, the devil finds work for those hands, and the doubt creeps in, and so you're always, you doubting your creativity as if it would ever disappear.
Right.
You're under the illusion that you're not a creative person.
You seem to always been, at least my perception, aware of the business side of things, if not completely business savvy. With the stuff you're talking about right here, and it reminded me of an interview you guys did probably on the last record cycle or maybe a little bit after, where you were talking about you were very happy with that record, but you were ultimately disappointed with how it performed, I guess, the sales. And I feel like we're deep in that era where that's what every artist is saying, like, especially ones that were pre-internet bands, like having to adjust to your expectations. Like, has that happened? Or are you able to say, like, this is what I can expect a successful record for us to do?
Yeah. Yes, even since just that last album, I think everything's changed so much, because even in the music in 2008 or so, the crowdfunding thing just seemed a little bit cheeky.
Yeah.
And still a little bit like niche, Okay, we're giving up on like selling to the world, the general public. We're now just selling to fans. It seemed a little like that, and a little like making music on a promise. But the difference now, when it's become like an absolute, like, standard, accepted way to make an album, to ask people to pay for it first, because there isn't the punters out there paying for music, recorded music that there used to be, Yeah. And as things head down kind of the streaming path, hopefully, like with the help of like, the Musicians Union in Britain, I don't know what it is over here, is it ASCAP or something, but whoever's fighting for artist royalty rates, which are, scandalous just now. I mean, they need to be sorted, because that's the way it's going to go. It's going to be all streaming. But you can just tell, Spotify's just got that kind of YouTube about it. That's going to be here to stay, and the payback for artists is completely untenable. And I don't know. I mean, it's frightening in a way to think of what it's going to be like when our generation has stopped making music or has died, and it's just only people that only know this stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of frightening to think it can go either way. So right now, there's still people alive fighting for it, because they know there was a different way.
I can't imagine what a career for those artists could be like. I mean, obviously, you've got to find. Every artist has to find the way to succeed. Whatever means possible. But it's exactly what you're saying. It's how do you? I don't know. I've got an 8-year-old son. I still try to take him to the record shop at least once every few weeks to make sure he understands what we're doing. So.
Right. There's a hard copy here that you could possess, but like when we were kids, you went and that was all you had was hard copies, and there was a magic attached to them. Now, I'd imagine to your 8-year-old, it's kind of a novelty thing or a niche thing or something. It's already apparent to him that this isn't the only way he could hear this music. I could do this with it. That whole trip to the thing with Dad, and we could spend the money on burgers instead.
Right. Well, still yet to be seen how that's going to shake out, but I'm at least trying to be somewhat optimistic about it.
I don't even think in terms of making money now with music. I just don't. I just think in terms of being able to afford to do the thing that I want to do, and not going to debt about what's it, It's great fun to do. It makes you. I think it has an effect of making you appreciate things on the road. I noticed that I feel a bit happier. We're like,
right.
These things come and go very fleetingly, so let's get in there and have fun.
Yeah, if it's not too much inside baseball, a band at your level, how do you survive? Like, where does the survival come from? The revenue or whatever it is?
Well, it wouldn't happen without pledge, etc. Like fundraising, we wouldn't have made a record, and without really without getting too kind of like spice rack about it. My wife and I, she does most of the earning, and for us, we've got understanding spouses that way. You know, we keep a little bit coming in from our royalties, but you know, we'd be a different scene if we were to get kicked out of our houses. That's for sure.
Well, I know it doesn't always work out for everybody, and I'm so happy that it has worked out for you because. Again, as I wrap it up here, I love this record. Like, whatever happened in your life to lead to this record, I'm so happy personally.
Thank you, Kyle. It's really good to hear. We're really happy with it, too. I don't know quite what happened in terms of why the fates were kind to us this time, but I'm really glad we found the people that we did to work with. And, you know, the inspiration was there for the lyrics because we're getting to that sort of stage in life where we're kind of reflective on a lot of reflecting on you know what time we've got left and where we're still relatively young, and that just seemed to be quite fertile ground for me, John, and Paul and Davey, you know.